Please, everyone get to their seats. Good evening. Welcome to the November 10th, 2021 combined meeting of the Vineland Board of Education. Roll call, please. Mrs. Leary.
Ms. Acosta.
Here.
Mrs. Cataspati.
Present.
Mr. Fiocchi.
Here.
Mr. Holmes.
Here.
Mr. Rivera.
Here.
Mrs. Sabrana.
Present.
Mr. Silva.
Here.
Ms. Spinelli. Here. Mr. English.
Here. Thank you. In compliance with New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law, commonly referred to as the Sunshine Law, the Vineland Board of Education has caused notice and posting of this meeting to be sent to the following: announcing time and place thereof, agenda, etc. The Daily Journal, SNJ Today, the Press of Atlantic City, Nuestra Comunidad, Visto Bueno, the Clerk for the City of Vineland, and the Administrative Office Public Bulletin Board. At this time, I ask that everyone please rise for the flag salute. Tonight's flag salute will be led by the Vineland High School Junior Reserve Officers Trainers Corps.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. At this time, we have some certificates for the junior RTC as well as our lovely singer this evening. So please come up and meet Miss Inez Acosta. And that was beautiful, thank you. All I can say is wow as I get the chills.
Okay, they're coming up here. Okay. So we have Zane. Zane?
He's come on down now.
Zane's not even here.
He's not here.
Oh, he's not here. Yahira is here.
She's back there.
Yahira's up there.
She's waiting for a teacher. Yahira, come on down. Thank you.
Is Justin here?
Yes, right here. Thank you.
We're gonna take a nice picture up here, okay? Jada.
Jada?
Gibbons. They're the front row. Jada. Jada and Justin. Go down there.
Thanks. You want me to hold it? I got it. Thanks.
There's Yahira right here. Just take the certificate and we'll stand over here. A nice picture.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
No, thank you.
I
You
appreciate
want
it.
to get into the picture with us? Yeah, no, we should get you in somehow.
Oh, come on. Why don't you be in there? Come on, walk through it. Come on in there. Gotta have the head.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. We can't go anywhere.
Yeah, she said she wanted to exchange numbers. She wanted to phone you further. Yeah, or something about a committee as well. Yeah.
What are we presenting?
For our military service.
Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah, she just wanted to exchange numbers, so I wanted to find her.
She'll be right. She's right there. You see in the doorway?
Yeah, I just did. All right. Thank you.
Thank you again for leading us in a flag shoot this evening, and once again, that was an outstanding rendition of the national anthem. Do we have a resolution for executive session this evening?
So moved.
Oh, no, resolution.
Sorry. Yes, we do. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education of the City of Vineland School District will convene into executive session for the following reasons outlined in NJSA 10:4-12. Discussion is about pending litigation matters and any matters falling within the attorney-client privilege to the extent that confidentiality is required in order for the attorney to exercise his ethical duties as a lawyer.
Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Mrs. Cataspati?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli? Yes. Mr. English?
Yes. Mr. Sanchez, just a quick point of order for tonight's meeting. We will conclude our meeting, adjourn, and then we will go into executive session after for a brief discussion. Correct? Thank you. Superintendent Yano, special presentations this evening, please.
Thank you. Before we get into the special presentations, I just want to remind everyone that tonight we are presenting this meeting in English and in Spanish. It's being simulcast with the Latino project helping us. We have a special website that you can go to view this completely in Spanish, translated live with the Latino Spirit organization, actually. So that's a huge beginning for us, and we're looking forward to having every meeting moving forward in that fashion in both languages. At this time, Ms. Dina Rodolfo, Supervisor for Pupil Services, will present the 2020-2021 assessment results. We're going to bring the screen down, so please watch your head.
Good. Oh, it's going to show my notes. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dina Rodolfo. I'm the Supervisor of Guidance and Assessments and Homeless for the Vineland School District. Every year, I am responsible for providing an update regarding our assessment results for the previous year. So, this is who we are as a district. This is just going to give you an overview of who we are. It has our just our gender, ethnicity, our free and reduced lunch, our special ed pop. This is where we're starting with. These are our students in our district. Our objectives for this presentation is to provide our most recent district assessment scores, provide preliminary data for our 2021-2022 Start Strong, our 2021 Dynamic, our DLM scores, our 2021 Access scores, review our graduation rate, as well as go over our next steps. Fall 2021 Start Strong assessments. Our Start Strong assessment, it's a new assessment that was administered this year to our students in the fall. It was first introduced in 2019 as an optional assessment. The whole purpose of Start Strong was to gather data at the start of the school year on where our students are. And it's based on the previous year's standards. So if you're in 4th grade, we're assessing how they did in 3rd grade. So that is what Start Strong assesses. The reason why we tested this year is because of COVID. We received a waiver from the federal government that we didn't have to test last year, and we obviously didn't test the year before. So we received the waiver as long as we administered an assessment in the fall. So that is why we tested this in the fall. Normally, when I do this, we provide comparative data with previous years, but we really don't have anything to compare it to because it's not testing the same thing, same standards as NJSLA, but it's not the same assessment. Many students were virtual last year, so that we, of course, we were given the waiver and we were allowed to test. The purpose. The purpose of Start Strong is to provide an early indication of the support our students may need. So we are testing our students in the fall to see how they did on the standards from last year. And this way our teachers and our administrators will know right from the beginning of the school year where our gaps are in learning. It's administered, this assessment, much different than the NJSLA. It's administered much more quickly. It's a very short exam. It can be administered right in the academic classroom, not as much schedule adjustments as when we administer the very lengthy NJSLA exam in the spring. it provides immediate feedback. So as soon as the student submits their answers, they have access to the scores. The scores are in the system. So the students that were tested, we tested ELA grades 4 through 10, math grades 4 through 8, algebra 1, 2 geometry, science grade 6, 9, and 12. And just a reminder, we test those grades, but it's actually testing the previous year's standards. Our next steps. Our final scores are due to the district in December. As of right now, teachers have access to it in Linkit. The scores are already uploaded into there. Administrators and school test coordinators have access to it in the Pearson system, so they can pull whatever data they need to get individual student performance immediately. School and district administrators are will analyze the classroom data through Linkit and Pearson. We're going to look at strengths and weaknesses. We can do that by standard, by test question, to see where our gaps are. Formulate interventions to assist the whole classroom and individual students based on their areas of weakness. So essentially, if you know that they scored poorly on a specific standard and that was a 3rd grade standard and you're building upon that on a 4th grade standard, you might have to reteach that standard before you can move on. So it's going to give the teachers a really good indicator of what they have to possibly reteach. And again, utilizing our ESSER funds to reduce achievement gaps. So the ESSER funds were put towards a lot of great things that are going to help our students minimize that gap that we have. Foundations, our math specialists, our ELA learning and enrichment programs, SEL programs, our developmental teachers, all that ESSER money is going to help fill that gap. Our vision, where do we want to be next year? So these were pulled from our school's ASP, so they're school planning, and these are essentially from looking at all of the elementary schools, all of the middle schools, and the high school. It's kind of a summary of where we want to be. So what are our goals? What are our SMART goals for that we want to see our students achieve? So that's what that is. So we're hoping 60% of our students will make progress, we'll have 1 year's growth. And again, we're taking the NJSLA again in the spring. So we'll be able to, have some type of data when we get that back in the spring. And again, and of course, the middle school and high school, again, this is all on our school planning. It came from the annual school planning. This is an example of the results. It's kind of hard to see because it's small. And if I blew it up bigger, it got all, couldn't see it very well. So essentially, this is an example of what the teachers see. So if you look at it, it shows you each question. It shows you exactly what area of support that they needed, small, a little bit of support, no support. And it tells you the specific standard. So this way, our teachers will know that as a class, when they go into Linkit, they'll be able to pull up their class. And for those of you who don't know what Linkit is, Linkit's it's a data locker that we use to store all of our data in for our assessment scores. And each teacher can go in and pull up their classroom, and we'll be able to see which standard that their classroom was struggling with. So they will have that information. These are what the parents get. So this will be, we will get these in December as well. They get sent to us, we send them home. So this will essentially provide the parents with an idea of how their child performed. And it's, you can take one look at it and you will be able to see how they scored for math, whether they need more levels of support, no levels of support. You'll be able to see where they scored. So I'm not going to go through each one of these because there's 30 slides. So this is available online. I'm going to show you a couple of them just to give you an idea of what feedback we got so far. And again, this is preliminary results. So if you look at, this is our elementary schools. This is grade 4 ELA. So the green area indicates areas where less support is needed. So they don't need as much support. Yellow means some support may be needed, and the red area where strong support may be needed. So that gives you an idea of what our schools receive. And again, keep in mind, this we've had a long period of time where we had students on virtual learning. There are some definite gaps, and that is the whole point of providing this assessment in the fall, was to pinpoint those gaps so that we can really focus on those gaps and get our kids caught up to where they need to be. And this is what this data is, the valuable data that it's providing our teachers and our administrators. So, and this is grade 4 math. Obviously, our math scores are lower, but they've, you know, it's again pointing out those gaps, and it's an area that we definitely need to focus on. So I'm going to skip through. We're going to go through. These are our middle schools, and again, this is a math. This is our high school. This is an ELA, which, as you can see, grade 9 ELA. Our students, quite a few have, you know, 38%, 40%. Not much support is needed, which is great. So 9 through 12, Algebra 1. This is our Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2. This is our science. We did test science. So these are the results from our science scores. And again, you know, it just gives an indicator as well for science as where those gaps are and what we need to do, where we need to focus. So access for ELLs. That access for ELLs is the test that we administer to our bilingual students or our students who are receiving English as a second language services. It's administered every year, grades K to 12. 50% of our students, roughly, were on remote learning last year, but we did get quite a few to come into the building. The principals were very accommodating. Our guidance counselors, our testing coordinators, our ESL teachers were calling them to come in. So we actually had 700 out of 983 actually test last year, which was more than what we expected. So the parents were very accommodating in bringing them in. And these were our access scores. So when you look at the 4.5 is our cutoff. Essentially, once they achieve that 4.5 score, that is where they are no longer in need of services. And I just highlighted our 2021 scores. This is our data. This is just the aggregate groups as far as who we tested for ESL. Who we tested for access. DLM, the dynamic learning maps, this is the assessment that we provide to our students who are significantly cognitively delayed, who are unable to participate in the NJSLA. So these are the scores for those students. And again, we had a lot of those students who were remote, but the parents did bring those students in. DLM is a little different. It's a little bit more lengthy than taking the access, but we did have quite a few parents bring their students in. This is our graduation rates. So as you can see, we have slowly been rising up until 2019, and then of course with COVID, we did take a little bit of a hit, but we are focusing on it and we are working on it, and we are hoping to bring that number up. So from 2012, it was 73.4. And our height at 2019, we had it up to over 85%, which is a nice big jump. Took a little dip the past couple years, thank you, COVID. And we're hoping to bring that number back up. We have implemented quite a few things over at the high school. Mrs. DeMarchi and I have been working very closely to improve that number. And we've put a lot of things in place over there to help that. So, and that 82% for this year, that's a tentative number. I haven't gotten the exact number back yet from the state, but that's the estimation as of right now. And I think that is it. Is there any questions, comments? No? Thank you.
We are going to switch gears now into our second presentation in honor of our veterans for Veterans Day, which is tomorrow. So I have with me our board member, Ms. Karaspati, who will be assisting me with some certificates for some honored guests tonight. So when I call your name, please come on up, and so we can celebrate you. And before we begin, I just want to remind everyone that on Veterans Day, we honor all who answered to a service call. Soldiers young and soldiers old, they fought for freedom, brave and bold. Some have lived while others died, and all of them deserve our pride. We're proud of all the soldiers who kept thinking of red, white, and blue. They fought for us and all of our rights. They fought through many days and nights. And though we may not know each name, we thank all veterans just the same. So this evening, we would like to remember the veterans who we do know, who happen to work for our organization, who we honor this evening. So Mr. Camardo, Mr. Joseph Camardo, please come on up. He's our principal of Barcy School. If you could stay up here, maybe we'll take a nice photo at the end. Right? Is that right? Okay, cool. Chris Chiola, teacher at Vineland High School South. Robert DeSanto, our board solicitor. Kenneth Loadholt, one of our security guards. The one and only Mr. Provenzano. Yes, sir. Security Director for Vineland Public Schools. Yeah, to the left of him. Okay. Joseph Ramirez, ROTC teacher. Thank you, sir. Jose Rodriguez, computer lab teacher at Cunningham. William Spence, ROTC teacher, Vineland High School North. Marquise Strickland, bilingual teacher at Wallace Middle School. I want to make sure I called all the names who are here. Thank you, Rossini. Okay. Thank you again for your service. We would like to capture a photo with you. Thank you for your service, and let's hit another round of applause for our group of veterans. Hey, Robert, how are you? Likewise. Thank you, ma'am.
Absolutely, thank you.
You want to?
That's all Mr.
Oh,
Young.
Mr. Young, I'm sorry.
When you're done, close the laptop because I'm going to bring it.
Close the laptop, you got it.
For our third presentation, a food services update, Mr. Patel.
You're good to go.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Llanos, and thank you, Board, for having us tonight. And I would also like to thank the veterans for their ultimate sacrifice. So, thank you all. Tonight, I would like to discuss some quick updates in food service, all the accomplishments and the challenges we're facing. So just a brief overview. Today's agenda, I want to talk a little bit about summer, technically end of last school year and going into summer, some meal stats, COVID-19 impact, student involvement, special events, community impact, our menus and our food supply disruption, and what's new this school year. So first, I want to talk about a little bit about last school year. We participated in the summer food service program, and the reason we participated in this program was because it gave us more flexibility. I'm not sure if you know about the National School Lunch Program, but there's strict time limits to breakfast and lunch serving times. So that's one of the reasons why we selected the summer food service program, because it gave us that flexibility. And another thing with that was because of the free meals that this program offered. And on top of that, unlike any other programs, this program helped us distribute meals once a week to all those students that were virtual. So that was one of the advantages of this program. Going next into the meal stats, I'm happy to announce during the pandemic and throughout the summer, 14 of our sites were open. Out of any other school districts, we were the most open sites. 45 frontline employees working to safely make and serve these meals, and the total number of meals served during the pandemic, 993,162 meals were served. And to break that down just a little bit, 475,586 breakfasts, 527,722 lunches, and 7,538 after-school snack. Now, if I may pause for here a minute, and I would like to thank our food service team. It's all because of them. Close to 1 million meals were served to our students. So thank you, team. Thank you for all your hard work. You're coming in during the pandemic and working safely. So truly appreciate that, and it's all because of you guys that we have reached these numbers. Next, I would like to talk about student involvement and special events. Back to School Night is a great event that we partner up with several schools and principals. For example, Rossi Elementary School, Back to School Night, we did a barbecue for our parents and our students. Pilla Middle School, we did box lunches for our parents and our students. This gives us a good opportunity to obtain feedback from our parents and our students. So this is an opportunity for us. And I thank all the principals for helping us also with that. Food pantry, we have reactivated our food pantry. There was several months where we were shut down because of the pandemic, but I'm happy to report that the food pantry has been reactivated, and we should be holding a food event every month right here out of Landis Middle School. Also, several schools have opened up their school pantries too, so that's great to hear. We're really reaching out to these students and parents. Student surveys have started being administered. We have several schools that have started the student surveys, and those results will be forthcoming. Another thing we're doing is the healthy newsletter. Our dietitian will create a newsletter every month, which will be posted with the district's newsletter. So Gia will be, helping us out with that. So you will see some nice tips on wellness, healthy eating, and healthy habits. So that's a great newsletter. And I'm happy to introduce our Future Chef event back in action. We will be hosting our Future Chef in March. This is where all of our elementary schools come together and they battle against each other in a cooking competition. This is a great competition for the students. They really learn healthy lifestyles, healthy choices. So that's another thing that we accomplished with this program. But I'm happy to announce that we will have this event in March. Details will be forthcoming. Next, I would like to talk about community impact. During this pandemic, we were introduced to many community leaders and vendors throughout the community here. We partnered up with 11 vendors. We had 6 community engagement events so far. Some of the local vendors are local farmers that we procure from. Also, there's other businesses in Vineland, such as Seashore Produce, where we partner up with them. And in turn, they help us provide these meals to students and parents. So far, it's hard to see over there, every month we are helping out 300 families. And so year to date right now, we have distributed 2,400 fresh produce boxes and 2,400 dry good boxes. So that's a great community engagement that we have. Next, I want to talk a little bit about our components of a reimbursable meal. A lot of folks don't know there's certain food groups that need to be met in order to be compliant with the USDA guidelines. These components must contain grain, meat or meat alternative, fruit, vegetable, and a milk. And to get a little bit further into that, the breakfast components, students must choose or must take 3 out of the 4 components that we offer. And for the lunch, they must take 3 out of the 5 components that we offer. Now, on any given day, anybody walks through our cafeteria, the first thing they will see is a salad station. Fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, and salads will be the first choice for our students when they come through these lines. And then along with that, their entrees. So on any given day, we offer 3 cold choices and 2 hot choices. That'll always be a selection of choices when students are coming through our line. And what's new this year? So this year, we have introduced our app. It's called the So Happy app. This gives the parents abilities to view menus, ingredients, what's going in those items, and also breaks it down even into carb counts, calorie counts, how much sodium the particular item has. And also, the menu itself, breakfast and lunch menus, they are broken down by elementary, middle school, high school, and pre-K level. So that's what's up, that's what's new this year. There's many other things in the pipeline right now. We're only 2.5 months into the school year, so there's more things coming. And that's all I got for food service. I can entertain any questions right now. Absolutely.
I'm going to put one more thing up on the screen real fast. I'm going to interrupt you. You want to have him answer the questions first?
Questions? Good, nice, right? Yeah, check it out. Yeah, very, very informative. Oh, I didn't get the number. Okay.
Thanks. Send that to the board so we can see that.
Absolutely. That was great. Yeah, thank you, thank you.
I know the product that's being put out there. It's a shame how sometimes one negative thing can spoil the whole cart, but I just want to say on behalf of my fellow board members, it's an outstanding job by all. We continue to appreciate. I've learned some great things about that. I would ask that you please share this on
Absolutely. Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. English. I would like to also thank the food service staff. You know.
Thank you again to our team. Thank you to our board members for all your support. You know, it's tough work. I know our central leadership team, when we go out to schools, we get to see the quality of the meals and the happy kids in our schools, and our team working hard diligently to make sure that everyone gets their meal that day. So thank you, Mr. Patel, and all of our team members. We just wanted to show you real quick on the screen. We are simulcasting in Spanish right now on Latino Spirit on their Facebook page. You'll see that if you were listening to it, you'd hear it completely interpreted for us live. It's the first day, so we're slowly getting some shares and some likes, and there I am right now. So this is being translated as we speak. So we are an inclusive organization. We have many parents who only speak Spanish. We want to make sure that they have the opportunity to hear the message being sent out. This is a major upgrade for us, so we're very excited. We just wanted to share it with you. The site is facebook.com/Latino Spirit. So if you want to look at it in Spanish, please feel free to join us. And thank you.
All right, thank you for our presentations. I wanted a special thank you to Mrs. Rodolfo. As always, her detailed data is something that I continue to love to view, and I would ask that also be shared on our website and with the board members, and I appreciate that. To our veterans, I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times, veterans of the past, the present. The simple word freedom is something so many of us take for granted, and without our armed forces, we would not have that simple word. So thank you to them as well, not only in district, but all over this great country that we live in. And as always, Sodexo, again, like I said, great stuff. So at this time, do we have any questions or comments on our HIB report this evening? Seeing none, we will move right along. Do I have a motion for the approval of minutes September 15th, 2021 combined meeting, October 6th, 2021 combined meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please, Mrs. Leary.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Mrs. Cataspati?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli? Yes. Mr. English?
Yes. At this time, do we have any committee reports this evening? I will start with my right, Mr. Fiocchi.
Finance Committee met on October 25th at 8 a.m. via Zoom. In attendance was Mr. Yano, Ms. Leary, Mr. Mostarell, Mr. Farinaccio, Dr. Rossi, Mr. English, Mr. Holmes, and myself. Firstly, we discussed the process of upgrading our current security camera systems, as well as costs around increasing security staff, cost-benefit analysis for payroll staffing, and the last two items was accountant vacancy, and assisted transportation vacancy. And then so the next thing I will touch on, it's not necessarily a committee, but we're started a construction advisory group. So last week we met members from central administration, the high school, local business owners that are involved in the trades. And the goal of this group is to implement a construction and technical education program here at Vineland Public Schools. Very introductory stages, but I think the plans are to start September 2022.
Thank you, Mr. Fiocchi. In regards to your second piece there with the construction, that's something that's really been passionate with a lot of board members over the years, and it was tough to gain traction for various reasons, but I'm glad to see that it's back on the front burner here. And I know, Mr. Yano, we do a lot of ad hoc committees here for certain things like that. I know this is the early stages, and with this being close to my last meeting serving on the board, I would hope that something like this maybe can get to the public for some input, as well as, I don't know if we need to get to the ad hoc stage of this yet, but I know we have curriculum, but sometimes with our curriculum instruction technology committee, we can get overwhelmed, and this is really a complete bear of its own. So through some discussion, I mean, it appears that Mr. Fiocchi will be spearheading something like this, but I would 180% support being part of this from the community side in the future, but also would like to see something, even if we started while I'm still here the next few months. But that's definitely some outstanding stuff that somehow got forgotten here in Cumberland County, which blows my mind. So it's good to see it's back. So thank you for that report. Do I have any other committee reports this evening? Mr. Holmes.
Transportation Committee met on Monday, November 1st. Present were myself, Ms. Spinelli, Mr. Rivera, Mr. Hall, and Ms. Leary. We discussed assistant coordinator replacement. We got an update on the Stop Finder student cards, update on driver training, and bus driver call-outs as well. Board members, I sent an email today. You'll receive a daily update as far as call-outs. You won't ask any questions, but it is being shared with you for informational purposes only. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Do I have any other? Ms. Acosta.
Committee met on October 25th. In attendance was Assistant Superintendent Nathan Fry, Mr. Holmes, Mr. Sobrana, and myself. We discussed the ROPES dual enrollment program that's being offered by Rowan University. I think it's a very exciting program, and basically for the parents at home that do not know about it, this is an opportunity for juniors currently in high school to begin a dual enrollment process and begin their first college course beginning in January. And so we're looking for volunteers. I know that we had some volunteers. Mr. Fry, do you know how many have enrolled so far?
We're getting ready to move into the next phase of our recruitment program, but so far, of 10 possible seats that we want to recruit, 3 have been taken.
Wonderful. So hopefully this is something that can be shared, and if you have a child that may be interested in getting sort of a head start and starting college basically in their junior year, I would definitely encourage parents and students to take this opportunity. We also discussed the November 2nd Professional Development Day. We discussed the testing presentation. We also discussed the construction trades. And finally, we discussed a T-Mobile grant that we received, or we're waiting on. We did apply for a T-Mobile grant, hopefully to get more hotspots so that all kids can have accessibility to the internet when they're at home. And that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Acosta. Do I have any other committee reports? Ms. Spinelli, it's been a busy month, huh?
Good evening. The Policy and Personnel Committee met on October 27th. Present was myself, Mr. Yano, Ms. Cataspati, Mr. English, Mr. Holmes, Dr. Sneathen, Dr. Rossi, and Ms. Leary. The items we discussed were the transportation update, accounting vacancy, elementary school principal search, bus driver compensation, the COVID testing vendor, food service clerk, softball coach recommendations, and the coordinator of maintenance service recommended. We also discussed the updated policies for the district. And that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Spinelli. Do I have any other committee reports this evening? At this time, I'd like to thank my committee chairs and committee members. Outstanding work throughout the year. As we're getting ready to come to a close, very informative stuff and good work. Mr. DeSanto, do we have any board solicitor comments this evening?
None for public session.
Thank you very much, my friend. At this time, we have public comment on agenda items or any other matter. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes each person. We have our new 5-minute timer up there, so it kind of will guide you through the process. And at this time, Mrs. Leary, do we have any yellow sheets this evening?
Yes, we do. First, we have Mary Cascabas. The topic will be negotiations.
Good evening, Mr. Yano and Vineland Board of Education members. My name is Mary Cascabas, and I've been a teacher in Vineland for 19 years. About 6 months ago, my 14-year-old daughter, Angela, bravely spoke to you about changing the middle school drive-through graduation to a more traditional one. Before she spoke, she said to me, "Mommy, I don't know if I want to do this. It's not going to matter. I'm just one person." I told her if everyone thought that, nothing would ever change. I'm here tonight to lead by her example. When talk of negotiations started coming up, I said to myself, this isn't going to be an issue. It should be an easy decision. I mean, all we heard for the last year and a half was how we were doing an amazing job, how we were going above and beyond, how we were on the front line. But to my disappointment, I learned very quickly that what we were asking for was not being considered. Disappointment is the one word that continuously comes to my mind. While I cannot speak for all of my peers, I can for a whole lot of them when I say that we deserve it. Let me ask you this. Who mapped out their students' homes for Christmas and delivered gifts? We did. Who bought toilet paper or paper towels and brought them to our students' homes because they didn't have any? We did. Who worked on lesson plans until 11 o'clock at night with blue light blocking glasses because their eyes couldn't handle the screen anymore? We did. Who zoomed, loomed, camied, castified, flip-gridded, or used any other resources that was thrown our way? We did. Who would have one-on-one virtual meetings after school hours with students because they couldn't make the meeting or they needed extra help? We did. Who was there just to listen when students needed someone to talk to because they lost a loved one or a school friend? We did. Who formed caravans to recognize their students' accomplishments? We did. Who answers emails during dinner with their own family or grades work at their own child's soccer game? We do. Who teaches 30+ students behind plastic dividers while one student has to sit at their desk? We do. And don't forget, keep them socially distanced and have small group instruction as well. Who combines their classes because a fellow teacher is out sick? We do. Who teaches math, reading, science, social studies, minimum of 8 assessments per subject, 32 assessments in a 45-day marking period, all while teaching? We do. And who wears all the hats? Instructor, mentor, nurse, counselor, therapist, janitor, motivator, entertainer, event planner, secretary, negotiator, detective, referee? We do. As teachers, we don't pretend to know how to be a doctor or a pilot or a lawyer. So unless you are in our position or have been day in and day out, it's impossible to know what we do. See, the thing is, the pandemic didn't just make us do all of these things. We've been doing them for years, and we will continue to do so because that's our job. There's a saying that is going around that teachers went from heroes to zeros overnight, with many of us having to defend our job because we are said to be selfish or even greedy. To that I say, it's not that we need it, we deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cascabel.
Next, we have Pamela English. The topic will be contract.
Good evening, board members and staff members, Vineland Board of Ed. My name is Pamela Vi English. I've been a middle school teacher in the district just shy of 20 years now. I'm a proud product of Vineland Public Schools K-12 myself. I'm coming to you today with concerns about our non-existent VEA contract. No contract yet, we're still working, and we're working mighty hard, harder than we ever have. I'm sure in all of your schooling or our schooling, many of us have competed in a tug-of-war before. Well, right now, that very strong rope is on its last string and about to break. Us teachers have been asked since March 2020 to work miracles. We have met every challenge and did our best to succeed. Learning Google Classroom, Zoom or Meet, trying our best to communicate with our students at a very trying time for all of us. We were considered heroes for about 6 months through this pandemic, and now we can't even get a decent contract with a decent pay raise. Personally, with the crazy inflation recently, I think it's about 8%, all of our bills, grocery, gas, energy, and more, are on the rise. With not having any type of raise, this alone is becoming a struggle and a stress to many of us on top of our daily duties. I'm going to review what happens in a day in a life of a teacher's one and only prep period. I have 45 minutes a day to complete 2 different grade levels of lesson plans. It'll be 3 soon as I teach 6th grade science, 7th grade science, and 7th grade accelerated science. Also in those 45 minutes, I need to make copies. I might need to make 120 of them. Copier breaks, have to go find another copier. I have to grade 120 assignments from my students. Then some of them I have to regrade because they got less than an 80. I have to make parent contacts, maybe meet with guidance or child study team to make them aware of any of my students that aren't succeeding or having peer issues. Completing our lengthy SGO process. Get my Google Classroom set up for daily instruction. Make any of my work digital, which sometimes consists of me taking a picture of it, uploading it to my Google Drive, then downloading it on my computer, and then uploading it to my Google Classroom. Creating a weekly agenda for our students. And oh yeah, I gotta find time to run to that lavatory before my next class arrives. Prior to the pandemic, I used Google Classroom to share maybe 2 projects a marking period. I didn't have to do a weekly agenda. I didn't have to make all the work on my own digital. I didn't have to basically do 2 sets of lesson plans, one on Genesis with all the standards and my, what I'm doing at beginning, middle, and end, and then now I have to do them again on Google Classroom. All of this has us teachers near our breaking points. On top of the stress of worrying about, 1, being exposed to this virus, 2, the stress of helping our students adjust to some type of normalcy, and also helping them learn how to act in school again. The stress of added requirements like posting daily and doing double lesson plans, creating weekly agendas for multiple classes, going live for quarantining students, as well as teaching the 20+ in my room is getting to be too much. Oh yeah, and to not have the financial compensation, also known as a raise, since September of 2020 has put a lot of us teachers not in a good place. Staff morale at most schools are unfortunately at an all-time low. Please make us a priority and respect us enough to give us a decent raise. We didn't quit. We didn't get a bonus. We didn't get a sign-on bonus. We did our job throughout this entire pandemic, and we need to have a settled contract that we are proud of. When I was 4 years old, I would sit in my parents' basement and teach my stuffed animals. I always wanted to be a teacher. I am proud to be a teacher, and I plan on staying a teacher for many more years. But right now, I feel we are no longer those heroes that we were from March of 2020 to June of 2020. And we are back to being in the trenches. And we need to be put back on those pedestals that we were on months ago when we did the unheard of. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mrs. English.
Next, we will have Vicki Miller. The topic will be nurses.
Good evening to the school board. I'm not a nurse, but I see what nurses do. I feel that we need a floating nurse. These nurses assist the nurses on what they're doing. 2 full-time jobs, COVID and problems in the school have fallen on the nurse. 1 nurse per school. I know in our school, I think we have over 500 children. I'm not sure. But I think it's needed. And I'm asking the board to look at it. And I also like to thank our vets. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miller.
Next, we have Monica Fuller. The topic is no contract, inequality, teachers, and time theft.
Hi, everybody. My name is Manya Fuller. I've been in district for about 17 years. I'm a 6th and 7th grade social studies teacher at Sergeant Dominic Pilla Middle School. I just want to go over, as my previous coworker just went through what happens during prep. I just want to kind of give you some, I don't know, some little details about what happens during an actual day at school. So we have shown up and we've done the, what people said, you know, was just amazing. We trained ourselves on most of the things that we did. We created materials, we searched for things online, we differentiate, you know, lessons and homework, sometimes like right on spot. We document and document and document and document and document and document. That's, you know, we do a lot of that. We input endless data. The SGO, when I did it last year, it took me about 8 hours of my personal time to get done, okay? We help our fellow coworkers. We respond to multiple parent and student emails. We organize our daily materials for our plans. We fix technology. We have become technology fixers due to the fact that, you know, they want things to become paperless, but then when the computer's not working, that comes to us. And then on top of it, due to there not being any type of guardian put on these computers, we are tasked with making sure that our kids are not on Discord, they're not on Google Chat, they're not on Instagram or all the other things that they're on while we're trying to get a lesson done, because there's nothing stopping them from being on those things during our class time. So in addition to all of that, we're cleaning our classrooms, we're cleaning in between, you know, classes to make sure that it's a safe environment for our kids. We are purchasing supplies that, you know, when our donations fall short or when the district doesn't give us the things that we need to do certain projects and lessons. We're triaging students and calling the nurse before we send them down. We are the uniform checkers, the hallway monitors. We're the bathroom list checker to make sure that there's not too many kids in the bathroom at one time, too many kids going at one time. We are self-trained. We have been given things since the pandemic started that we've had to train ourselves on, or we get a video that we have to watch on our own time, and are offered PD hours. PD hours don't pay my bills. I can't fold up a PD hour and send it to my car payment. We got a new social studies platform that we were never trained on. We've trained ourselves on these things, often as I'm teaching. I don't have time to do things after work because I have to work another job because I don't have a contract. So I'm Grubhubbing and DoorDashing after work. We are the social workers and guidance counselors because, well, there's one social worker, 2 guidance counselors per building isn't enough, specifically in middle school. And when these people are unfortunately getting pulled, then we're covering we have to cover what they can't. We are the substitute teachers because we don't have enough. So when our coworkers can't make it in for whatever reason, we're covering their classes. And if there's a special ed teacher in our classroom, that special ed teacher is being pulled to cover the substitute area, the spot that the substitute should be covering. It's just not enough. We're given 225 minutes a week to complete all of this work. We're not given any time, and we're not being paid for the time that we are using of our own. When I started teaching, the one thing that was always told to us is that if you use a sick day and you're caught not sick, that they can come after you for time theft. Well, what is it called when a district gives you too much work, not enough time, and refuses to give you any type of compensation? It's wage theft. If I'm held accountable for things that need to be done and you're not giving me the time, it's wage theft. We would like a contract. We deserve a contract. Just like the Central Administration got their contract. We want that same, we want that same, that you guys settled their contract with. We would like to see that for our teachers. We should have had it September 1. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fuller.
Next, we have Brandon Hines. The topic will be SEL programming.
Hello and good evening to the Board of Education as well as the community members. Before I begin, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Board of Education as well as the community members, as well as our veterans, as well as the powerful female voices that we've had speak tonight. Sincerely, thank you for your sincerity, thank you for your passion, thank you for your commitment to our students. Through this entire process, I promise you it has not gone unnoticed for even a second. Thank you. For every role that you have stepped into, thank you. Our students are the ones who need the help. Our students are the ones who are suffering the consequences, as well as our educators, as well as our administrators, as well as our board members. But at the end of the day, we're here for our students. And again, I appreciate that you've all shown dedication and sincerity to their benefit. So thank you again for that. For those of you who have not had an opportunity to meet in the past, my name is Brandon Hines. I began my career 13 years ago as a national spokesperson and motivational speaker doing nonprofit youth engagements for the American Heart Association. Through that work, that took me to over 200 public schools and tens of thousands of students in the state of New Jersey across all age groups. Following 10 years with the American Heart Association, I had the privilege of working with the New York City Department of Education and doing youth engagements for them as well. I got to work in all 5 boroughs in New York and with thousands more students in the city at that time. Since that time, I have dedicated every single day of my life to trying to collect as much objective data and subjective input as I can find from as many different voices as possible to try to bring our students the most well-rounded education on their mental, physical, and emotional health.
The last time I spoke in Vineland, actually, I was 16 years old. I spoke at the Vineland Public Charter School. And that was an incredible experience. What brings me back to Vineland is information. So I'm asking for information from the Board of Education, as I'm sure there is certainly valuable information to be learned here from your experiences. And so what I'm looking for is what's interesting is prior to the pandemic, for years, I've been hard-pressed to find a single member of the education community that would disagree with me that student morale is an issue that demands our attention. There was no evidence before the pandemic that that was the case. Research is crystal clear now since the pandemic. Not only is student morale directly correlated to academic performance in a profound way, both student and parent morale, as well as educators' morale, has decreased dramatically since the beginning of the pandemic. We all know this. We're living it. You don't need convincing from me. But the point being is what we're seeing now is the research is clear, and now being able to collect that research, what is best for me to help the students that I'm working with in different districts, in the Clearview School District, in the Woodbury School District, in the West Effort School District, in the Camden City School District, and amongst others. I need to have some information from different school districts as to what is working. So my question to the Board of Education is simply, are there any SEL programs, social emotional learning programs that have been implemented in the district either before the pandemic, and what new programs have been implemented since the beginning of the pandemic, if any? What things are working well for you guys? What have you seen that has been working well for these students? What are they responding well to as far as social and emotional learning? And as far as improving student morale, are there practices that you guys have found help? If so, please share that with me. That will make it easier for me to help students that I'm working with. Additionally, I would like to ask, as someone mentioned earlier tonight, there are ESSER funds. As far as I'm familiar with them, there was a budget that was passed by the state of New Jersey. I want to say that we are calling it, it's the ESSER mental health support funds that were allocated by the state and approved by Congress this year. I have the specific dollar amount, but I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head, but I'm curious to know if that money has been used for social and emotional learning programs. If so, how are those programs going? And out of sincere curiosity to know what I can be doing better for our students, I would like to know what is working well for you and what has not been quite as successful. We can only learn through our failures. No one saw a pandemic coming. I see that a lot of people are very upset with the situation that we find ourselves in, but the only way that we're going to get better, and I tell students this every day, is by communicating. There's no situation where we scream at each other and don't listen and get somewhere further. So please, thank you so much for listening to me. I hope that I have the opportunity to listen to you and that you can provide me some information that will be helpful. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hines.
Sure.
Last, we have Tyra Myerson. The topic will be assessments.
Good evening, members of the board and central administration, and Mr. Yano. My name's Tara Myerson, and I'm a first grade teacher at Menny's Elementary School. I'm here to discuss concerns that I have, as well as on behalf of a lot of educators and administrators across our district, regarding the outrageous load of assessments that are required for our students in Vineland. The assessments I'm referring to are the graded assignments that are given in class that are factored into our students' overall academic performance grade, each marking period. The tests, the quizzes, the projects, the alternate assessments. And I'm here to respectfully ask the curriculum committee of the board or Mr. Yano in collaboration with Mr. Fry to really consider lightening the burden of these assessments on our students, for our students in the district. Here are the facts for those in the public that may not be aware. The current assessment requirements for students goes like this: 2 tests, 3 quizzes, 3 alternate assessments, and at least 1 graded classwork assignment. This is per subject, per marking period. I teach elementary school, so as an example, elementary students will get 9 assessments per subject at least, times 5 subjects. That's 45 tests. I know someone else here said 32, but it's actually 45. But a marking period has 45 days in it, so if you average that, that's 1 test per day. And And let's also not forget to factor in those lengthy benchmark assessments on Linkit that we're required to administer. Now, this heavy assessment load has really hit our kids and our teachers really, really hard this year, and I'm personally witnessing this every day. That's why I'm here speaking. I teach first grade. The frustration level and anxiety that my students and myself are experiencing is nothing that I've ever experienced in 14 years of teaching. The tears flow, the breakdowns happen on a daily basis, and maybe some of that is me, just saying. The tears definitely. For the past 18 months and counting, the world's been turned upside down. We know this, by a pandemic, and our students really have paid the price. We all agree there's been emotional, physical, educational implications from this. But as a district, why are we not taking into consideration any of this? Okay, the district, we still have a curriculum that's high with rigor, okay? Assessment load that is reflecting complete normalcy, okay? We're still pressing the gas pedal full force. It's business as usual, as if nothing has just happened to our world. We're holding our students to an expectation that I feel is really impossible at this time for them to achieve. And it's just unacceptable at this point. So personally, as of 2 weeks ago, it was the beginning of October 25th, the week of October 25th, I had 39 tests sitting on my back table, waiting for kids to complete or make up or get a retest. 39. Like, my mind is blown, and you know what? I don't think it has to be this way. The end in sight, it doesn't have to be this way. With this unacceptable amount of assessments, we're testing more than teaching now, and we're evaluating more than educating. I really feel that. Thanks. I know you all feel me. But and this is why it's not just me, okay? We talk, we collaborate, you know, we vent our frustrations because they're just abundant, and in this particular topic. So anyway, what you have to let us try and do, what students need right now, is for teachers to build their foundation. It doesn't take a construction worker to know that you need the foundation in order to build the house, okay? To put the pieces back together before we hop on this train full speed ahead. Give us teachers time to do what we do best. We need to appropriately lay this groundwork for these kids so they can reach that level of rigor, and we can even advance them, okay? But we're not there yet. When we put these tests in front of students, speaking of SEL, when we put these tests in front of students that they are not adequately prepared to take, what are we doing for their confidence? Like, we want children to be excited to come to school and not feel defeated. I've seen so much of that lately. And also consider teaching staff. How do you think it makes us feel when we give students tests that we know they're not going to do well on? My first graders see a paper with words. They are confused. They don't know what's going on. I can say A, B, C. All they see is words, and they lose their minds. I'll tell you how it feels. We come to work each day, and we leave feeling a failure. We do. We feel like failures when we leave our day. Sorry, timer. As we completely reinvented the wheel in March of 2020, we did all we could. Of course, we had things out of our control: attendance, attention, home circumstances, being in lockdown. That didn't help our cause, but we did the best we could. So take our advice. Let us do the math. Let's work our magic for the students. Let us do it. If you can give us time to do it. These assessments for assessment's sake are overwhelmingly prohibiting us from doing any of our magic work. This is not also doing the education system any justice or our students and staff. So in closing, I respectfully request that the Board of Ed and Mr. Yano communicate and collaborate with our administration and district supervisors, because we need to immediately revise and considerably lighten this assessment load for our students. I'm not talking next year either. I'm talking like next marking period, maybe. It really should be a priority. So thank you for your time. Sorry, timer. I offended you again. Sorry.
Thank you, Ms. Meyerson.
Thank you.
Do I have anyone else that would like to address the board this evening? Seeing none, just a quick follow-up here. Mr. Hines, if you're still out there, you can contact Mr. Fry. He'll give you any kind of data and information you would like to hear. And I don't know if you're aware of our process. We listen, but unfortunately we cannot exchange in dialect. I just wanted to let you know that. Ms. Meyerson, I know you do your homework, so I can only hope that you've discussed this through the chain of command. And for you to be at the podium to address the board, that tells me that you did not get any results. So thank you for sharing that with the board this evening. We have the proper people. Ms. Acosta will address that accordingly with her committee. As far as the negotiations go, it bothers me when I hear the words hero to zero, because you know you are the heroes. When you say the word zeros, you guys know how to find me if you want to know what's really going on, okay? This time, we will be entertaining our motions and resolutions from our superintendent, Mr. Alfonso Llano.
Thank you. Discussion regarding personnel items as noted on our agenda. 1.1, retirements, resignations, leaves of absences, employment transfers. B, students. C, substitutes. D, extracurricular activities. And E, volunteers.
Do I have any questions or comments? I have a couple comments real quick here. I'm going to try and make it short and sweet. I see under retirements, first of all, congratulations to the retirees and best of luck. A lot of years of service here. We have 40 years. We have 31 years, 26, 27, 21. Big stuff there. But there's someone in there tonight, Miss Debbie Quinn has her name in there. And Debbie and I, we've been friends for way too long. We're talking like third grade. We met at the Marie D. Durand School when it first opened. And if you cut that person in half, she bleeds red and gray. She's what Vineland is all about. To see her name on here, I'm happy in one respect, but such a huge loss makes me probably want to vote no to a retirement. And you know, I don't know what ever happened. Dr. Rossi, if we all vote no to retirement, does that mean it doesn't happen? How does that work? But I just wanted to give a shout out to her, because I know this was an extremely tough decision for her. I see her colleagues out here, and I know you guys are feeling that same type pressure. So I just want to wish her and all the retirees best of luck. When it comes to resignations, there's another name on here, Mr. Mari Ferrari. Like Debbie, I've known Ms. Ferrari a lot of years, and one thing about Ms. Ferrari, very, very vocal, and all she ever wanted to be was part of the solution. Everyone can have their opinions about the type of person or style that she has, but that's another person that gave all that she had for the district, and unfortunately has gone to another district, as people do. But I just wanted to wish her best of luck and thank you for the time she's put in here. Replacement hires, real quick. I have Mr. Martine on here, which is, I call Mr. Martine, I always thought that he would get a job in another district, so we'd be sitting up here in the board president's chair. But because he chose to get a job here in Vineland, that will never happen. But seeing him on there, I always said that you are an ambassador for the youth, and I believe you were born wanting to be a teacher. And I'm glad to see your name is on here, and congratulations to that. And then finally, again, it is questions and comments, so I get to comment. There's a name on here, Christine Speakman. Quite a few years back, there was a board meeting where her staff members chose to show up with T-shirts that said, "Speak for Speakman." It was an interesting night, to say the least. I'm the type of person that says, if you want to be part of a team, that's the type of team you want to have to lead you, your team and your leader. When I saw that, I said, wow, that was some respect there. And I want to take a moment just to thank her for sticking through this district, because there's always that rumor that flies around Vineland, you're never going to get your chance, you're never going to get your chance, you got to go elsewhere. Sometime that happens. You can't, there's not that many jobs to go around. But tonight, I have 100% confidence that the Vineland Board of Education will speak for Speakman. So, and I've been doing this a while. I do not see a more deserving person for this principalship. So, glad to see you on here. And at this point, the emotions are flying a little bit. So, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes, except 1.1 subsection D, extracurricular activities. I vote no for under Schedule B, spring coaches, employee number 11049, head softball coach.
Thank you. Mrs. Kataspati?
I vote yes to all except for I'm voting no to Schedule B spring coaches, employee 11049, the head softball coach.
Thank you. Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes to all, but voting no on Schedule B spring coach, employee 11049, head softball coach.
Thank you. Mr. Holmes?
Yes to all, no to Schedule B spring coaches, employee number 11049.
Thank you. Mr. Rivera?
Yes to all, no to Schedule B spring coaches, employee number 11049, head softball coach.
Thank you. Mr. Sabrana?
Yes to all, except vote no on Schedule B spring sports coaches, employee 11049, head softball coach.
Thank you. Mr. Silva?
Yes to all, no on Schedule B, employee number 11049, head softball coach.
Thank you. Ms. Spinelli?
Yes to all, but no to Schedule B, employee number 11049, softball coach.
Thank you. And Mr. English?
Before I vote this evening, I believe a clear message is going to be sent that whatever took place with this process should not happen in the future, and I would hope that it will not happen in the future. So I respect that Mr. Yana will look into this and address it accordingly over the next few days. I will be voting yes to all, no to Schedule B VHS spring coach, employee number 11049, head softball coach.
Thank you.
At this time, I was told that Ms. Speakman has a comment. She can entertain. And congratulations on your...
Good evening, members of the school board, Mr. Yano, and our Vineland community. I'm honored to accept the position of principal at Dr. John H. Winslow Elementary School. One of my favorite authors and motivational speakers, Brene Brown, tells us who we are is how we lead. So here's just a little snippet about me. I've been a proud member of the Vineland Public School community for 24 years. And although I am not a native Vinelander, this is my second home. My husband's here tonight, and he knows all the Vineland spots I bring food home from, so this has been my home. So I'm going to date myself, but I began my career here. I drove to Vineland from Sicklerville and secured a job as a 3-7 teacher, which was working 3 hours a day, teaching reading and math with Nancy Walters at Dr. Menny's school. So I walked in Menny's much younger than I am right now. And I was fortunate, much younger and thinner, I should say, no, but I was fortunate to secure a full-time position teaching at Menny's. And I spent the bulk of my career in 3rd grade at Menny's school. During my time at Menny's, it was wonderful. And, a lot of you are sitting here right now. And I was fortunate enough when Lisa Arena, who's here tonight, became principal. I had a great opportunity, even though I loved teaching, and I still do, and I still miss the classroom, but I couldn't pass up the opportunity to be assistant principal at Dr. Benny's, which is where I've been for many years. So during my time at Benny's, personal goal I had was to secure the achievement of a school of character, which we did through collaboration with our fabulous staff. So education has been very important to me, and throughout my career I've continually taken classes with a focus on curriculum instruction and school improvement. And at this very moment, nearing the finish line of my doctorate, focusing on principal leadership from St. Joseph's University, where all 3 of my degrees will be. So I'm a proud Hawks fan as well. So my experiences as a teacher, an assistant principal here in Vineland Public Schools have fully prepared me to take that knowledge and experience to the next level of principal of Winslow School. As principal, my initial goals, of course, will be to establish strong relationships within the school community with the parents, the staff, and the students. And of course, my overall goal would be to continually focus on student achievement and improving, always improving, and building that strong school community that we know is necessary. You heard our speakers tonight. This year has been challenging, and it's been challenging before that. So I can't wait to get started as a Winslow Whale, taking everything that I've learned in Vineland, moving on, and I look forward to meeting everyone at Winslow and becoming a Winslow Whale. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you and best of luck.
And just very briefly, if I could put my VASA hat on, I'm the VASA president, and to congratulate, of course, Renee Braxton, who I am replacing at Winslow, and a very strong, proud member of our Vineland community, Miss Deborah Quinn. That is a big loss to us. But she's already told Dr. Rossi she'll substitute, so, so congratulations to them as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Discussion regarding procedure and operations 2.1 through 2.6. 2.1, approval of trips, district travel, winter sports VHS. 2.2, resolution approving the dates, time, and place of monthly board meetings per the list provided and on file with the board secretary. 2.3, approval of the listed policies as noted on our agenda. 2.4, approval authorizing the board secretary to enter into an affiliation agreement for the school year 2021-2022 for the placement of students for field internships, student teaching, practicum observations with Chamberlain University. 2.5, approval authorizing the board secretary to enter into an affiliation agreement for the 2021-2022 school year for dual credit with Delaware Valley University. 2.6, approval authorizing the board secretary to enter into an affiliation agreement for the 2021-2022 school year for the placement of students for the field internship, student teaching, practicum, and observations with Rutgers University Clinical.
Any questions or comments? Just a quick comment. I'm glad to see 2.2. We will now be meeting 4 times a month, once every week. So I'm glad that all of you board members are going to be sharing some quality time together. I'm just kidding on that. Just making sure you paid attention.
I just read it.
Just making sure you paid attention to the agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
That's fine.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Mrs. Cataspati?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli? Yes. Mr. English?
Absolutely, yes.
For buildings and grounds, we do not have any items, so we will move to discussion regarding finance, and we're going to do this in 3 parts. Finance 4.1 through 4.8. 4.1, approval of budgetary transfers. 4.2, approval of the board secretary and treasurer's reports for September. 4.3, approval regarding the placement of special education students. 4.4, approval regarding adopting the 2022-2023 budget preparation calendar. 4.5, approval to accept a security grant in the amount totaling $527,555 for July 1st through June 30th, 2022. 4.6, approval regarding the following non-public aid for the 2021-2022 2022 school year, A, B, C, and D as listed. 4.7, approval regarding professional development workshops totaling $600 for New Jersey Association of Business Officials, October 1st through April 26th of 2022. 4.8, approval authorizing professional development with Rowan University in the amount of $13,000 for the 2021-2022 school year.
Questions or comments? No?
Approval regarding 4.1 through 4.8.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Mrs. Cottasbody?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mrs. Sabrana?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli? Mr. English?
Yes.
Discussion regarding 4.9 through 4.13. 4.9, approval of authorizing professional development for a workshop titled Response to Traumatic Loss at no cost to the district. 4.10, approval regarding a CST list of vendors and consultants, which may not exceed $3,000 per evaluation per VBOE policy 2468. 4.11, approval regarding the agreement between professional medical staffing and the Vineland Board of Education for nursing services, October 1st through June 30th, 2022. 4.12, approval regarding the acceptance of an updated 21st Century Grant with Boys and Girls Club of Cumberland County for partnership with Petway, Winslow, Pillow, and Veterans Memorial Schools for this school year. 4.13, approval regarding the award of a following contract for Winslow HVAC system, contractor Falaska Mechanical, total contract amount $706,000.
Questions or comments? Nope.
Approval on items 4.9 through 4.13.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Mrs. Cottasbody?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes to all, abstain on 4.12.
Thank you. Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mrs. Sabrana?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. English?
Yes.
Discussion regarding 4.14 through 4.21. 4.14, McKinney-Vento tuition contracts between the Vineland Board of Ed and Egg Harbor Township Board of Education for 2 students in the amount of $4,446.18, September 8th, 2021 to November 30th, 2021. 4.15, approval regarding McKinney-Vento tuition contracts between VBOE and Pittsgrove Township Board of Education in the amount of $16,224 for September 7th through June 30th, 2022. 4.16, McKinney-Vento tuition contract between VBOE and Atlantic City Board of Education for 1 student in the amount of $20,883, September 9th, 2021 through October 4th, 2021. 4.17, approval regarding the McKinney-Vento tuition contracts between VBOE and Salem City Board of Education for 3 students for the amounts listed and as noted on our agenda. 4.18, approval regarding the McKinney-Vento tuition contracts between VBOE and Franklin Township Board of Education for 2 students, again, as noted on the agenda, for 2 students in the amount not to exceed, concluding June 30th, 2022, for both students. 4.19, approval regarding McKinney-Vento tuition contract between the Vineland Board of Education and Pine Hill Board of Education for 1 student, $17,415, September 7th through June 30th, 2022. 4.20, approval regarding the transportation payment modification agreement and release between the Vineland Board of Ed and transportation service providers for the school year of July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022. And last but not least, 4.21, approval regarding the following Cumberland County Regional Cooperative Transportation Initiatives, A, B, C, and D, as noted in on our agenda.
Questions or comments? Seeing none? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Sorry, I was calling it a night. Can I get a roll call, please, Ms. Leary?
Sure. Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Mrs. Cataspati?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mrs. Sabrana?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli? Mr. English?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Yano. At this time, we have number 10, proposed items for review or discussion or adoption by board members. We have nothing on that this evening. So we'll move to number 11, approval of bills that incurred during the month of September 2021. Do I have a motion for approval, please?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please. Mrs. Leary?
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Mrs. Cataspati?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mrs. Sabrana?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli? Mr. English?
Yes. Thank you. We have no emergent items with prior approval, and even I don't have any old or new business this evening, so we're going to move right along. At this time, we have board member and superintendent remarks, and I don't have to worry about limiting our comments to 5 minutes, so we know the drill. I will start to my left with Mr. Rivera.
Good evening, everyone. First and foremost, I'd like to, since tomorrow we are commemorating Veterans Day, I'd like to thank all those veterans that work in our school district, as well as all those veterans that have served in the past here in the city of Vineland. I'd like to congratulate Mr. Silva and Ms. Acosta on being reelected to the board. I look forward to working with them for many years to come. Quiero darle la bienvenida a cada persona que nos está escuchando a través de la página de Facebook en la sintonía del lenguaje español. Bienvenidos. I'd like to welcome everyone that's listening to us in the Spanish language simulcast through the Facebook page. Had a list here. At the end of this month, I'd like to wish our Jewish community a happy Hanukkah, since we will not meeting until then. And also, I would like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. It's coming up in a couple weeks. Can't believe it, but it is. And this successful rest of the school year. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera. Mr. Sabrana.
Thank you to our team from the Air Force JROTC program and that beautiful performance of the national anthem by Avery Gay. Both are reminders, of course, of Veterans Day tomorrow and all the men and women who have served this country in uniform and the sacrifices they've made, especially our employees that we honored here tonight. Special congratulations to Ms. Speakman on her appointment at Winslow School. I had the pleasure of working with her for many years, and her hard work and sacrifice, and especially her passion on behalf of our children, was a joy to behold. Wishing you the best, Kristen. Also, congratulations to Ms. Debbie Quinn and what he said about her. Also known her for many years and a great career spanning 3 decades. Congratulations to my seatmate here, Mr. Silva and Ms. Acosta. Known you both well and looking forward to serving with you again this last year on the board. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sabrana. Mr. Silva.
Good evening. Also would like to thank the Junior ROTC for the flag salute and a wonderful performance by Avery Gay. I would like to congratulate Ms. Speakman. Wish you nothing but the best at Winslow School. Ms. Debbie Quinn, thank you for the many years of service and congratulations on your retirement. And thank you to all who have presented tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Silva. Mr. Fiocchi.
Nothing at this time.
Thank you. Mr. Holmes.
Yes, congratulations to Ms. Debbie Quinn. Great loss to the district, but congratulations on your retirement. Congratulations to Mr. Martin. And lastly, congratulations to Ms. Kristen Speakman, who is an exceptional administrator. I've had the pleasure of visiting Manny's I visit schools almost every week, and Manny's is a frequent, and it's one of the kids there, when I first walked in, he called me Dr. Martin Luther King. Manny's is a great school, and Mrs. Speakman, again, is an exceptional leader, and I'm so glad that she has finally gotten her chance to do greater things, and it's going to be at Winslow School. Wish you nothing but the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Ms. Acosta.
I would like to thank each and every person who came up to the podium to speak tonight. It's important for us to hear all the wonderful positive things that are going on in the district, but it's also important for us to hear some of the things that are bothering or troubling you, or some of the problems and issues that we're facing. I'd like to thank our wonderful Air Force Junior ROTC that came up tonight. They were wonderful, as well as Ms. Avery Gay for singing our national anthem. I'd like to congratulate those who are retiring. Again, Ms. Quinn, I wish you nothing but the very best and a wonderful retirement. Mrs. Speaker, I am so very, very happy that you will be leading our Winslow Whales, and I look forward to hearing many great things coming from your school. There is no doubt in my mind. Lastly, I just want to thank Mrs. Rodolfo for putting together the special presentation. It's important to know where we started so that we can see how we're growing in the district, and that data is very invaluable, and I think it will help us as we move along and try to fill in some of those gaps that are missing. And I wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving. I know this has been a very difficult year, but I know I am very grateful to all of you, and particularly as a parent of a student, I appreciate all the support that my child is getting from the Vineland Public School, so thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Acosta. Mrs. Katasbadi.
Thank you, Mr. English. First, I would like to thank everyone who did come up to speak tonight. It does take a lot of, courage to come up. Not everybody can do it, so I do appreciate, like Ms. Acosta said, we love hearing the good, but we also need to hear the bad in the district. Mr. Dotho, thank you for your presentation. Mr. Patel, also thank you for your presentation, and to all your staff who have helped through everything feeding our students. Thank you to the Junior ROTC and for the great rendition of the National Anthem by Miss Avery Gay. I don't even know if thank you is enough, or if thank you is the right word to say, but to express my appreciation and gratefulness and gratitude to all of our veterans, both past, present, and those who are going to serve in the future. I come from a long line of veterans. I'm married to a veteran, and I can't thank you all enough. I appreciate you so much, and God bless you for everything that you do. It allows us to be able to sit up here and do what we do for you guys. As Mr. English was talking about, we have over 140 years of retirements. I like to kind of check that out every month when we do it. 140 years, over 140 years of service to our school district. I can't thank each and every one of you enough. You've made our district what it is, and you will be missed. But please come back and substitute. Miss Quinn, I don't even know where to go with you. I'm changing my vote to no. She can't retire. But no, seriously, she has done so much for this district, and she is going to be missed greatly. I can't get into it because I'll break down like he did. So I just want to say congratulations on your retirement. You will be missed. The district will miss you greatly. Congratulations to all of our new hires. Mr. Martine, Congratulations, yay, finally, we can, officially put you into the district. I see great things coming for you, and just keep up what you're doing and the good work that you're doing, because I know you're here for the students and the district. Ms. Speakman, this is long overdue, so thank you so much. This is so well deserved. I was so excited to hear that you got this job. Winslow is all the better for it. Manny's is going to be okay, I think, but the district this promotion was just wonderful. So congratulations. I can't wait to see what you're going to do and what you have in store for that school. To Mr. Silva, Ms. Acosta, and I believe Ms. Fabry, I'm hopeful that the results are close. Congratulations, and I'm really looking forward to working with all three of you, next year. I'd like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, happy Hanukkah, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Ms. Garaspati, my Vice President.
Hi, good evening. I also would like to congratulate Mr. Martine on his official teaching position with Vineland Public Schools. I also would like to congratulate Ms. Speakman on her new role as principal, and I look forward to visiting your school and seeing all the wonderful things that you're going to do there. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone, happy Veterans Day, and I will talk to you guys real soon.
Thank you, Ms. Spinelli. Superintendent Yano.
Okay, I only have about 15 minutes worth of comments, so I'm going to pull Scott English on everybody here. So one of the things I wanted to point out is that the leadership team and our school leaders, we have been working together to develop different ways of looking at data, looking at the ground level, at the student level. So we've put together a continuous improvement guide that Dr. Steven is working with our school leaders on unpacking. There's monthly messages, monthly questions that have to be looked at. We're also working on a school stat for school leaders and a school stat for supervisors. That's a monthly event where we dive into the data. Right now, supervisors are unpacking all of the areas of their responsibility, developing key performance indicators, and then producing reports based on those areas of their responsibility, so we can see how is the district faring, how are our students doing, how are they progressing. And we're currently working on developing what we are calling our Make It a Grade report. Mach 1, an idea offered by one of our own team members, which will be a quarterly report on the state of the district across all of our KPIs, attendance, climate, and academics. And in that, we'll weave into some of the new programs that we're working into the plan for the following years, like the construction trades that Mr. Fry and Mr. Fiocchi are working on diligently to bring it and realize it, and also our special education programming that we're working on very, very heavily across the district. So very exciting times about how we're going to be using that data. Dina Rodolfo gave you a little taste of some of the information, but we're going to dive deeper, and we'll bring that information to you. First marking period closes on November 18th, so if you have a child in the district, make sure they get their assessments done, they retest if they need to, get those classes and those assignments complete. Conferences are coming up November 22nd and 23rd. They're a hybrid approach, so if parents want to go in person or they want to schedule online, they have the ability to do so. And, it's going to be exciting, actually. It'll be my first bonfire at Vineland High School on the 24th at 6 p.m. Should be very fun, and we get to burn stuff, so legally it'll be interesting. And the next day we have a Thanksgiving game against Millville. So, boo Millville. Okay. On the 15th, this Monday, we have our National Junior Honor Society induction ceremony for our middle schools. Exciting event that I'll get to be a part of, and our board members, I believe, have received an invitation to attend. The following day, we have a bilingual advisory committee meeting that's scheduled at 6 p.m. at Sabatier School with Dr. Negrin. And I want to point out that we recently produced a student spotlight with Ileana Figueroa. You met her here one night at the November board meeting. We conducted a short interview with her, and our next interview is already scheduled. We'll be interviewing Yahaira Cuevas. She was here with the junior ROTC. She's also Miss Monogram. She's also the most amazing student I've ever met because she's into everything, sports, track and field, everything that you can imagine, she's doing it, and we want to spotlight her. She'll also come out to one of our events and be one of our keynote speakers. Community Partnership Committee is on the 16th. At 4:30 p.m. So I'll send out a reminder about that. We'll have our team there. Our principals are invited to participate as well. We have many community members coming out that evening. We have an action-packed agenda. We have professional development on trauma and mental health for youth being presented by one of our own students, one of our own teachers, I should say. And we're going to spotlight a community group. The Southwest Council will be presenting it as well during that session. So looking forward to some great things over the next couple weeks. No one ever started the timer, so I think I'm okay. Thank you.
I love it. Good stuff going on. I think my board really covered everything this evening. When I decided not to put my name back on the ballot, I knew that the district was going to be in good hands. I can walk away at midnight on the 31st of December saying, you know what? The Vineland Public School District's going to be okay. Then I'll march over to VEA and sit down, and whoever would like to know exactly what's going on, I will gladly tell you the truth. So remember, there's two sides to every story, and you know it. So it bothers me when I heard the 0 to 0, because there's not one board member that looks at any teacher in this district as a 0. If it wasn't meant that to come out that way or for me to feel that way, it definitely got my attention, and it's a darn shame that you feel that way. And I will definitely entertain any discussion anybody who wants to have with me on what's really going on. So I'm easy to find, you know my number. My colleagues to the left, Mr. Silva, Ms. Acosta, congratulations, convincing victories, never a doubt. I know that you will continue to do great things because it's in your DNA. Ms. Fabry, you've been at every meeting. It shows that you're interested. You've asked me all the right questions. You've really dug in as if you have already been a board member for 6 months. Sometimes with these ballots, the way they go, if it doesn't go in your favor, don't be discouraged and don't give up. I think you ran a first-class campaign. There's no smearing going on. You just want to be part of the solution, and you want to make a difference. You have vested interest. You have a child in this district. So you know what? Kudos to you for sending your child to the Vineland Public School District, because there are many people that choose not to. So best of luck to you when the results are done. I believe the 13th, I was told. I never know why this happens in Cumberland County, but maybe when I seek a position at a higher level, I can address that. All righty then. I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I see that Mr. Marchie's out there. Just if you can get maybe the community and the board some information concerning what Millville might be doing with ticket sales. I'm hearing some mixed things, so if you can maybe get it to us in a timely fashion. I'm not sure what they're planning on doing. I heard it might be 200 tickets. I heard there might be no limits, but if we can do something like that. I believe my new superintendent to the left of me said beat Millville. You know, but he's learning. We want to crush Millville. All right, it's a little bit deeper than that. We throw like people from Millville on the bonfire. But that being said, you live in Vineland now. But best of luck to our football team every year. I mean, we always say the turkey tastes better with a victory, but at the end of the day, as long as our athletes go out there and compete and be the best that they can be, hey, a win is a win and a loss, hey, in life sometimes it doesn't go your way, so you lose accordingly. I really have nothing else this evening. I thank the people that came to the podium tonight, because I know you wouldn't be coming if you didn't feel it. Mrs. Meyerson, I know you will continue to keep the board abreast of what's going on with assessments. Kind of eye-opening for me, and I can tell you that Mr. Costa listens to that stuff, and we'll have some good discussion about that. With that being said, do I have a motion for adjournment this evening?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you and good evening.